Welcome to A Transformed Life, the podcast where we alchemize our ashes into art, transform our pain into power and peace. I'm Hope Rose, your hope dealer, inspirational guide, and storyteller in this podcast. Each week, we dive into inspirational stories of transcending our grief, how to navigate custody battles with peace, transform our trauma into triumph, and what seems like a mess into a magnificent masterpiece. Together, we'll foster transformation, resilience, and guide you in claiming personal responsibility for your story. Our stories offer hope, encouragement, and community support, guiding you toward better health and wellness. Join me as we discover actionable ways to leverage our struggles, find healing, and rise like a phoenix. Tune in to discover your power, your divinity, and learn how to embrace your story so that it can serve others on their transformational journey. Hello. Welcome back to the podcast. I am so glad you are here. If you have not taken the time to leave a review, I would greatly appreciate that. That is one way you can support this show. I don't receive any sponsorships for it. So when you rate the show and leave a 5-star review, that greatly supports me in continuing to spread my message of transformation. We will get to the latest video visit with my son at the end of this broadcast. Yes, I am deliberately putting it at the end so you stick around for that update. And then I have another exciting update regarding my son as well. Today, I want to talk about a few different things. One of them has to do with pain. And I just had an inspiring conversation with a woman. And we kind of got on this topic of pain and how, people use it to, transform their life. And I don't find that to always be the case. Some people have pain and they continue to perpetrate themselves and others. And then there's a second group of people who have pain and they take a door number A and transform, transcend, transmute that pain into the highest good of all. And I think there's this notion out there that when somebody has pain, they turn it into, power, peace, and purpose. And that is not always accurate because as we can see in society today and through my personal life and through my story that I've been sharing on this platform, there are people in my life that have pain, i.e. they haven't healed from their childhood trauma, whatever they perceive in their life to be negative, that they are still running those misaligned patterns in their life. And they are using their pain not how soul wants them to. And they're hurting others, they're hurting future generations. And so we can look at pain if we are conscious and aware. And this kind of gets into another topic that I will carry over into in a few minutes. And that has to do with the family court crisis right now, the father's mob movement. That's what I call it. It's not a father's rights movement. It's really a father's mob movement because these men have not healed whatever it is that has troubled them. And they are continuing to pass on that trauma, that pain, that hurt through their children. And that is only hurting our society and it's hurting future generations. And so instead of, ending the war and beginning to heal what is inside them that is begging, that is knocking very loudly to be healed, they are taking children from their mothers. They are continuing to abuse the mothers and to abuse the children. And it doesn't have to be physical. It doesn't have to be, sexual. It is emotional. It's financial. It's psychological. There's so many different forms of abuse. It's power and control. It's coercive control. And do fathers have rights? Absolutely. Should healthy fathers be in children's lives? Of course. I am for healthy, healed fathers to have a role in their children's lives. And what we're seeing is we are not seeing healthy fathers really present in America, even in marriages. And this is a global problem that is too long for this podcast right now. And, based on my personal story, and just because I, now interact with so many women and mothers that are going through, similar situations as mine, these fathers are, the collective fathers, are, they don't realize this, but they are begging for healing. And, a person can't heal until they are ready. The famous quote is, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And we can't force anybody to heal. We can't force anybody to transform. And all we can do is continue to heal ourselves. And in turn, that will shift and shape, the people around us, our family, our, community, our town, our, a global collective of healing. And my message to, if fathers are listening to this podcast, is to really take a deep look at your life, begin to work with a skilled professional, a very dedicated coach who can help you unravel the patterns in your life, so that way you can have peace. And what I see in the family court sector, particularly with the fathers who, are just really using the children and using whatever means they can to, hurt and punish the mother for simply just being a mother and, giving birth to children and raising the children, is they have an unhealed, wound that they haven't accepted, acknowledged. And it's so important that we take responsibility for whatever has happened in our life and transform it for the highest good of all. That is a mature person. And we are seeing a lot of immature adults, they are in adult form. They're still playing out the 7-year-old, the wounded 8-year-old who, didn't get their way on the school, playground. And that is still, happening today. And the wars in, family court. And so, my prayer and my meditation and, the downloads that I receive from Source is to really, really create a movement of healing within the family court system. It is a system. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And, instead of fighting on who gets the pink blanket and the dishes and the linens in the car and the house, to really lay down your weapons, turn inward. What is activated in you? Did the other person, do you wrong? Do you perceive that person did you wrong? Whether that's true or not, you still have a responsibility and a duty to heal and transform that pain that you have. Did your spouse cheat on you? Well, where was your role in that? There's two people in that dynamic, and it really takes a highly mature individual to say, how did I get into this relationship? I accept responsibility. I take ownership for the decisions, I made, and I want to be aligned with my soul. And when you're out of alignment with your soul, things are just going to be rough. You're going to find friction wherever you go in situations, many, small, big. And so whatever you are, facing in life, really just kind of take it to heart that, this is all up for transformation. This is all up for the highest good of all. And yeah, just kind of, wanted to share those thoughts on that. The other thought, regret costs, and gratitude receives. And so we can have regret for the choices we've made, the situations we have ended up in. We can have regret for, this is what we touched on last week's episode, of the life we wanted is not the life we've been given. And so having compassion and gratitude for where you are right now. And that takes work. It takes time. It takes transcendence of epic proportions, because it is not always easy to take stock of your life and admit the truth. And that is, something I have been doing in my life, of really admitting the truth of, different areas in my life, of how I originally got into the relationship with the father of my child, and so many other, truths in my life. And it's just not the truth. It's the truth. When the truth hits in your body, you will feel it. It's a vibration. It's a frequency. It's an energy. And truth is really transformative. When you can admit the truth to yourself, and maybe with a trusted advisor, coach, professional, there is freedom, and shame falls away when that truth is admitted. And so if you are in a place of pain, of wondering where you are going in life, what you can do with your life, if you are discouraged or disappointed, if you have regret, if you have remorse, like those are all very low frequencies, and what you focus on expands. And when you focus on those things, you're just going to get more of that. And what do you want to put out into the universe that will come back to you? The universe is always listening to your frequency. It doesn't listen to what you want, but it listens to your energetic patterns. And so, you can take your pain and continue to, use it to punish yourself and punish those around you. Or you can say, what? How can I take this gift of pain that I didn't want, that I didn't believe I asked for, and receive it in the highest honor and use it to be alchemized? And this is the other kind of thought I want to impart with you, is this concept of turning your ashes into art and really alchemizing it. And so what does this mean? Well, take any painful event, any disappointment that you have, like it could be a breakup, it could be, even be a divorce, it could be a job loss, it could be a financial loss, whatever situation that you have, going on in your life. Maybe you've lost everything, like I have a few times, and you feel like your life is in ashes. You're starting from complete scratch. And, in the beginning, you're wondering how to turn those ashes into art. And it's not talked about a lot, this concept of, alchemizing and turning your, ashes into art. And that's really what I, want to shed light on, because when you're going through the fire, it can be difficult to see the masterpiece that you are on the other side of that fire. And fire transforms, it shapes, it renews. And if you can have the perspective of like, what I am going through is for the highest good of all, it's going to be transformed into something so miraculous, I can't even see it yet. And I trust the universe to lead me in that direction. I'm going to acknowledge and look at the patterns that got me here. I'm going to heal what is hurt within inside me. I'm going to use my story and turn it into this magnificent masterpiece that only you can paint. And the world is living for you to paint your masterpiece. And when you shed those layers of shame, guilt, fear, regret, remorse, disappointment, depression, sadness, grief, loss, your masterpiece begins to emerge. And that masterpiece is love, joy, peace, transcendence, gratitude, gratefulness, humbleness, humility, love, joy, peace. And that is what the world is asking for. The world is asking, will you please paint your masterpiece that only you can paint? Because we need it. We receive the joy and the love and the gratitude that only you can give out into the world. And when you continue to hide your masterpiece, that light is hidden. And we need the light in the world. And the more lights that we have in the world, the less the darkness is present. And so my message to you is to really take inventory of where you can transform and alchemize your ashes into art. And if you need support, I am always here for you. You can get a hold of me at my website, send me a message on Instagram. I'd be happy to support you through whatever you are going through, because transformation need not be done alone. And when it's done in community and with others and with support, you just have a higher rate of success of transforming your life and really feeling fulfilled at the end of the day, and knowing that you are making a difference with your story from a place of consciousness, not from a place of victimhood or being a martyr or this is unfair or, a chip on your shoulder, but really offering your story, your ashes, and molding them into just a beautiful work of art, and that only you can commission. And when you take the time to change the way you think, you change the way you live. So I invite you, are you happy with the way you're living right now? Do you feel good in your body? Do you feel good in your mind? And not just good, but do you feel grateful? Do you feel content? Do you feel at peace with yourself? The greatest relationship you can have is not with another person, it's with yourself. And if you don't feel at home with yourself, you can't feel at home with others, with your children, with your partner, in your business, in community, in relationship with your, friends. And this is an invitation to come home to yourself, discover who you are by realigning all of the wounds that got you to this point. Thank them, be grateful for them, and use them in the highest service for everyone, for yourself and for each other. So to kind of wrap up today's show, the update on the latest video visit with my son. it was good. I got to read him some books, and he's 6.5, so he's very, very active. We are still kind of working through, the behavior on the other side. He told me during this visit, he's like, "You hate me." And I was like, "Oh, well, who told you that?" He's like, "You did when I was with you." And I was like, "That's not true, sweet boy. I love you. I love you very much. I miss you." And so, that was difficult to hear, and really, diving into that of like, oh, he feels comfortable enough to express that to me. That is wonderful. And the exciting news is that next week, as of this recording, I will see my son in person for the first time in over 2.5 years. I am so excited to be able to hug him. And we have waited for this day for a very long time. And I have stayed persistent and resilient and dedicated to making this happen through a lot of internal work on myself and my patterns, and where I was, getting hung up on different things that have, been, presented to me through all the work that I have been doing internally. Emotionally, spiritually. And we are finally arriving at the day that I will get to see my sweet boy face to face, and to give him all of the mama love that has been stored up for many years now. And I am so grateful for this opportunity, and I will leave you an update probably in a couple podcasts when I record next on, and give you a visit update on that. But it's going to be a very joyous reunion, and I look forward to really stepping into a continued season of growth for both me and my son, and reunification in that relationship, and also really using my story for the highest good of all. And I know I say that a lot. And I say that a lot because when you can keep that high perspective of like, this story is so much greater than myself. This all happened for a divine purpose, a divine meaning. And I can't always make sense of it, but I know my soul is asking me to step up to the challenge and really bring an inspiration and encouragement and insights to those who are going through deep, dark times, because I have been there. I know what it's like to lose everything multiple times. And I'm here to encourage you, and here to challenge how you got here. I'm here to change systems. I'm here to transform systems. And ultimately, love is where we will all transform to. And so I want to thank you for joining me on this podcast today. Please leave me a review if you haven't already. I greatly appreciate that. And follow me on Instagram at Hope Rose Speaks. If you would like a free coaching session with me, the link will be in the show notes below. And Black Friday is coming up. I will be having a Black Friday special, so be sure to sign up for my newsletter if you haven't already. Go to hoperosespeaks.com for that, where you can sign up and you can receive a transformational blueprint download when you sign up for my newsletter. And the newsletter is called The Transformation Times. So with that, I will end this week's episode. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next week. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for listening to a Transformed Life podcast. If you got something out of today's episode, please take a screenshot and share it on social media with your takeaway. And don't forget to tag us at Hope Rose Speaks. Have a beautiful day.